Shalom, Israel. I'm Priest and Officer of 5000 Laban of the Israelite School of UPK under Commanding General Yohana, here to share a very important public service announcement to all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians who currently suffer under the stigma and plagues associated with a felony conviction. If you're a member of our community, you know all too well the difficulties in trying to obtain adequate housing, a decent job, your credit is all jacked up, and 100% of the time, you lose your Second Amendment right to bear arms to protect you and your family against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But that stops here. This year, during our 8th annual Fire Weekend, Friday, August the 1st in Chicago, we're launching a brand new service for Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Due to recent Supreme Court rulings and the tireless work of Commanding General Yohana, it is now possible to clean your record and restore your Second Amendment rights. Join us Friday, August the 1st at 9909 Roosevelt Road, Westchester, Illinois, 60154. To RSVP, call 586-382-0569. If you're out of state, visit us at www.isupk.org, search for your city, and contact the head of the school in your zone to access this services where you are. This is your shot to clean your slate. Don't miss it. Shalom.
You mean everything to me because I know you mean everything to Christ. And Christ means everything to me.
I called on the Lord. I said, man, Father, this is real. Will you watch over me? Will you raise them up to be strong? I'm just a man with flesh. This is what you called for in your scriptures. You said they wore studs and fringes, they got it on. You said they don't follow the law, they doing it. You said under your house shot they ought to love one another, and they doing it.
We're in front of the Israeli School, Universal Practical Knowledge, the Philadelphia Division, here at 3226 Cheltenham Avenue in Philadelphia. We're standing in front of the school right now, getting a description of the 12 tribe sign that's been painted by one of the brothers that was in the school: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Shalom. Shalom. You've been waiting for this day, so this day has finally come. A lot of you have been wondering where this knowledge that you've been hearing is coming from, and the powerful truth that you've been hearing, how this was established. Well, we finally were able to arrange for the priests to come down from New York and spend some time with us. And I'd like to introduce them if I can. These are some great brothers. We're very glad to have them with us. We want to make them feel as warm as possible because this is their work and the extension of their work and what they've laid down some time ago. I'd like to introduce, first of all, priest and Sixth Shield General, 4th in command in the nation of Israel, Lahab. I'd like to salute this brother. March up. Barak. Yeshabim, which means sit. And I'm going to turn it over now to Priest General Lahar.
Water, brother. I'd like to say this, starting off, we're very impressed at your school here, and we're very impressed to see that the brothers and sisters in Philadelphia think enough of the Most High and the Bible and the truth and your nationality to be a part of this, because most of the brothers and sisters are running from the truth.
Ironic.
You know the truth is the truth, that's all I know. Cry loud and spare not, you gon' get exposed. A few real niggas left, you not one of those. Real soldiers, we was born to stand 10 toes. If he ain't one West, that nigga not one of mine. He got a purple 12, me, I got a black 9. The truth is the wife of my youth, chopper my concubine. Had to die to get my rib, that bitch forever mine. You know the game, a bishop gotta be blameless. But GMS teaching niggas to be rapists. They screaming we snitch. When Joel Morgan was killed by your brother, y'all ain't say shit. Real prophets only dwell in the UPK, PSA, we don't sign NDAs. Real prophets only dwell in the UPK, PSA, we don't sign NDAs.
Hey, 100 deep, 100 shields on, that's 100 priests. 100 boots, that 200 feet. Tongue like a sword when I fucking speak. Teach you how to fish instead of fucking leech. Stop selling drugs instead of trying to fuck with me. Knowledgeable, but I'm rude in my fucking speech. Life is about warfare, not no fucking peace. Hey, bitch, I cry loud when I fucking speak. Make them wait a year before they fuck with me. Turn a street nigga to a fucking priest. Cross a priest, and I promise you forever sleep.
One West, that's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. That's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, niggas? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, niggas?
UPK soldiers got them killers with me. And I don't fuck with every spot cause it's too iffy. Real motherfucking prophet cause the Lord with me. But don't get that shit twisted, I got Drake's with me. Yeah, bitch, and that whole 50. Run up on me wrong, you gon' catch 60. Wait, you gon' catch 20. The other 30 for your homies, bitch, I got plenty. And I'll shoot this motherfucker till that clip empty. Taking orders from your bitch, you a fucking simpy. Shit, should be televised. The way I'm cutting niggas up, bitch, I'm a samurai. Niggas swear they in the truth, but telling hella lies. Stumping like you Greek, bitch, you Hellenized. The revolution gon' be televised. And what I see in my vision gon' leave you petrified.
One West, that's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. That's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, niggas? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, niggas? UPK soldiers lead cowards in awe. So fuck a gas stop, I came with 6 pumps in my car. My niggas ready to swing, we like kids at the park. So touch a chair around this bitch and we breaking your jaw. They think we Christian, but we not. Nothing about us is soft. I don't know what you niggas on, but that shit get you off. We booted up. We came to take zones for real. Black 40 under my garment, I be dressed to kill. Fourth dimension sitting linger, I be fresh for real. Putting scripts on your corners, but these here ain't pills. We rock covers. You official if you know those drills. Bread and water, you official if you know those meals. Yeah, you niggas soldiers get rolled over. You got police in your pocket, I got a judge in my holster. Oppressors out to get us, so remain sober. Or be chained to them chains till there's nothing that remains of us. A cult leader like Christ, we got the same culture. I bang on them, tell my enemies the reign's over. I up the sig and keep pulling like a chain smoker. The game ain't changed, One West stayed the same on them. One West, that's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. That's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, niggas? One West. We want it all, nigga. nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, niggas?
Niggas talking prophets, yeah, we got plenty. We the reason why it's Israelites around the city. Karkazak tells the rock, bring Shamar out. We about to slide on them, see what niggas talking about. Young dog think he wise cause he a Kim head. That shit lame, they didn't survive, nigga, Kim is dead. Where I'm from, little nigga, is a dirty game. I pledge allegiance to Yahweh, bitch, I'm UPK. Huh, nigga, let's talk bodies. Set up on your corner, wake up everybody. Big priest until I'm dead deceased. The mission is complete until you're off the street. So y'all on the internet stumping down the street. But take the poor and the weak. Touch your sister or brother, you gonna be sleep. But take the poor and the weak.
One West, that's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. That's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, niggas? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, nigga?
Fucking with the brothers, then I'm giving out major pain. Clip full of ball heads, I'm shooting out Damon Wayne's. Driven ambition, I ain't never changing lanes. Wise as an old man, but I ain't slanging cane. This ain't a game, this shit way deeper than rap. You speaking the cap, but the shit y'all speaking is cap. I'm 5,000, but I still keep it a stack. I'm in the truth, not cause back then I was seeking the fact. Cry aloud for the niggas that's deep in the back. And the Lord with me, ain't no reason for keeping the strap. We peep the attacks, niggas say we ain't speaking the facts. Stealing breakdowns every time we teaching in class. Niggas snitching, y'all out here squeaking with rats. We be on the street corners teaching that Jesus is black.
We on 125th Street, Harlem, nigga. You see where we at?
One West, that's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga. So who is y'all, nigga? One West. That's who we are, nigga. One West. So who is y'all, niggas? One West. We want it all, nigga. That's who we are, nigga.
Test. Can you hear me, sir?
God, I can hear you. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shabbat. Testing. Is my sound okay? Can you hear me? I can hear you, Tawab.
Yeah. We good now, sir. Khan, I don't want Khan. We good now.
No, sorry, Christ.
Test. Did you get the PDF I sent you?
Khan, yeah, I got that PDF here.
Yep. So I want to work off of that, sir. If I may, Shalom, Yabashim Yashah Brakatah to the brothers. Shalom, Yah, how about Hashem Yahweh? Slaki. It's been a long day. Yahweh Shemar Alataba Hashem Yahweh to the sisters. Woo, we just got finished. Now, I can't even say we finished yet with the Midwest Fire Weekend, right? Hosted by Captain Mawakwa under Commanding General Yohana, right? If you're not in the ISUPK, you're not in the truth. And we say that all the time, right? With saying that, you have to know what the scripture says. The scripture tells us to gather ourselves together. There's only one house. There's a bunch of scriptures where we can show you that. But tonight is the history class. And tonight's class is going to be the part 2 of We Invented It. If you were privy to see last week's class, we brought out a few inventors that really were not how you say it, sir, wasn't recognized in the black community.
God, yeah, there are so many inventors. Salak, is my sound okay?
Your sound is great.
Okay, most sound great. Yeah, that class we had gone through was so heavy because we're brought up in a society where our achievements have not been recognized by society. We've grown up in a society where we're being told history from our oppressor. You know what I mean? There's a show that I had watched. I remember I've always kind of connected it to our situation here, but it was a bunch of what we would call like European Vikings, and it was during this time where Rome was going around conquering different nations, and as Rome conquered this one village, this European village among the Vikings, the children of the Vikings watched their oppressors murder them and slaughter their parents and their uncles and their aunts. The children watched other children being slaughtered in front of them, and then they're beaten down into a point of submission to where now Rome says, now you're a part of us. You know what I mean? Throw away your culture. We're going to raise you in our society. You're going to join our military. You're going to learn our religion. You're going to throw away all your customs. And that's the environment that these children are being raised in, where they're being told everything by the people that have brutally murdered, raped, robbed, murdered, and done everything to colonize their people. And so it's a strange thing to me that, more and more only now are we starting to recognize that, wait a minute, we're the children of slaves. And that has a lot more meaning than just knowing our ancestors were in slavery. It actually means that we had a culture, we had our own religion, we had our own language. You know what I mean? And there's something very powerful in that. So to be in this class where last week we're speaking on some of the great inventions that we've made, we have our own culture. You know what I mean? It's more than just the things that we've invented, but we are capable of doing so many other things rather than just being good slaves here in America.
Damn right.
You gonna say something?
Yeah, like I was saying, sir, is that when you have brought up family history and views and things of that nature, is that I've been told by I've been told by the elders in my family, the great uncles, the great aunts, I could say my great grandmother. I never met my great grandfather. That we come from slave people and sharecroppers, and we're coming from slaves and sharecroppers. My people, my family lineage on my mother's side started off in Mississippi, right? And they fled oppression and ended up here in Detroit. The family, they were in like Norfolk, Virginia, and things that Norfolk, Virginia, and they fled, the lynching and things of that like that over in Virginia to Detroit.
Right.
And so if it wasn't for my father's people running from Virginia, my mother's people running from Mississippi, who's to say I'd have been born in the city of Detroit? And it's heavy because a lot of us can't trace back to our, like, I don't know on my mother's side, I don't know my grandfather's name, my great grandfather's name. Right? That's not too many generations far past. Right? And that's why this history class is so important to me, because I can't go back to my great grandfather on my mother's side. I can go to my grandfather on my father's side, and there's I can talk to my uncles, I can talk to my father, and I can find out who my great grandfather and great great grandfather were. I can find out who those men were. But on my mother's side, it's confusion. And why I say it's confusion on my mother's side, because my mother's side, they follow the matriarchic, how do you say that? The breakdown of it, right? And these women had, I hate to say it, they had some niggas.
Yeah, like that matriarchal lineage.
Huh? Say it again, sir? They weren't the most what they claim to be now, the most sanctified, women on my mother's side, but at the same time on my father's side, I can talk to those individuals and find out who they were. I find out that my father was named after, one of our great uncles, and then my father ended up naming me after, him. But on my mother's side, I can't tell you who my grandfather was on my mother's side. I can just go by who they assumed that he was. And I think that's not too many generations of history. So that means that I can't tell if these men on my mother's side were some of the inventors that we've been talking about the last week or two. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if one of these guys were, my mother's father.
God, if I may.
My mother's stepfather, I know he was Native American. I know who he was, but her biological father, all I can get is an assumption of what his name was. You were saying something, sir?
Con, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Okay. Yeah, something interesting too is like my mother's side, they had come up from the south. Their family was, so I think it was my mother's uncle, who was a part of one of the worst lynchings in the South.
Damn.
They had lynched him, set him on fire, had the pigs, eating at his flesh, and that's what motivated on my mother's side them to come up to Canada. You know what I mean? So, who knows who her cousins and her family members were. You know what I mean? Y'all are up in Detroit, over similar reasons. We're just across the border right beside you. My mother, her mother's side could have family all throughout Detroit.
Damn right.
A lot of us came up here fleeing all that fuckery that was going on down there.
Damn right. Damn right. So, sir, if I may.
Yep.
The Midwest Fire Weekend. Could you please give me your how can I ask this? Give me your summary and breakdown of the Midwest Fire Weekend. The events,
man,
the parties, I didn't get to party too much. Anybody in Israel, especially in the city of Detroit, in the school of the city of Detroit, know that if it's a party, I know where it's at. I know how to get there. And 9 times out of 10, if it's a party in Detroit, I probably could get you in for free. But in Chicago, for me, sir, it was all work. But, give me your synopsis on, your, please.
For me, like Christ said, those that do the will of my Father, those are my brothers, my mother, my father, my sister. That's my family. And, events like the Midwest Fire Weekend, is an opportunity to get together with brothers and sisters. Sometimes brothers you've never met before. You know what I mean? Each year, sometimes you have a couple new brothers, a couple new troopers, or young men or 50s, that you've never seen before. And we're all there, kind of united for the same reason. And, in us coming together, it's also a place where, we're also under that one understanding where, we're striving for perfection. We're striving for righteousness. Where brothers and sisters can be together and, actually be safe. You don't got to worry about, somebody molesting your children and things like that, because we're all here serving Christ, serving the Most High, in righteousness.
Yes,
so,
sir.
it's not only an opportunity to come together with family, you know, just enjoy each other's company, like that barbecue or that family barbecue you went to every single year, just gathering. That's all it is. You know, you come together, you enjoy each other, and it's a beautiful thing. And at the same time, we're also looking for our brothers and sisters that are in the world. You know, we're looking to build our family and make it bigger, you know, so these events can just become, you know, even more glorious. So, you know, we're out there doing the work, trying to get, you know, this truth out to our brothers and sisters, you know, so that we can just continually come together and just, you know, enjoy each other's company.
If I may, sir, and some very powerful things happening. Like, yeah, I worked a whole lot. You know, I got brand new shoes that I worked the bottom off of in Fire Weekend this week. So the ribs, she say, you know, one of the ribs, she say, your shoes is messed up. You just got them shoes. It's like, yeah, I just got some shoes. She said,
good. Yeah.
I said, you know, when I get some money, I'm gonna go get some more. She said, I'm ordering you some right now. I was like, Most High in Christ. I see what you trying to do, woman. But you know, I the brotherhood that I seen over the weekend, and I tell everybody this is that we rode down there. Was it Wednesday morning? Yeah. Well, I rode down there with Officer LeBon, right? You know, Officer LeBon, he's so heavy with this troop. Officer LeBon is one. You heard my story about why I came into the truth. You know, Officer LeBon is he's one of the centerpieces of why I came into this truth, right? And once you know that connection was solidified, even though I had been knowing him almost 20 years before I came into the truth. Right, when we talked, hang out, did everything, you know, I still had to go through what I went through in order to say, you know what, this is the home of the truth. Because I tell people all the time, like I was a Christian pastor, and with being a Christian pastor, you know, I know how to get that money out of people. I know how to get that money out of them. You get one scripture. I'm gonna tell you the format of Christian pastors, and those individuals that are not in the UPK that are listening to this, I'm gonna allow you guys to correct me if I'm wrong. What they do is you get one scripture, you hang on that one scripture, right? The pastor, you know, do some hooping and some hollering over that one scripture, right? And then after you do some hooping and holler over that one scripture, what he does is, you know, the choir get to playing. The choir get to playing, and then the individuals that's playing the instruments, they get to playing, and by that time it's he got you right. And with him having you right, you know, now it's time to send that plate out and reach into your pockets. And then while they reaching into your pockets, you had the choir play something settled. Right. And after they done reached into your pocket, then you hype it back up. And you close it out with the scripture that you was talking about, and you send niggas home. I know how to be a Christian pastor. I know how to get that bread when it comes to being a Christian pastor. But with talking with LeBron, I had to learn this truth. And the reason why I bring him up specifically is because he showed not just myself, but other brothers while we was down there. And I'm not saying that there's not any other brother that didn't do the same exact thing. I'm just saying the hospitality that I was shown. That I was shown down there. You know, me and another brother, true brother, Saginaw, Nishaga Bar. Right? Because we were like, you know, I was talking to him like, man, I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it. Right? I don't know if we're gonna be able to get down there. And LeBron said, here, this is what LeBron said. LeBron went and rented a Bentley airplane
Bentley airplane.
He got to do with me. He rented a Bentley airplane. And he told me, he said, "You coming to the Midwest Fire Weekend?" I said, "Con out of one con." Because he said, "You gonna work this expungement program?" I said, "Con out of one con." He said, "Go pick up the Shaka bar." So he gave me the keys to the Bentley airplane. Right. And we playing around, Israel. It wasn't an airplane for real. It was just a very expensive vehicle. And he said, "Go pick up the Shaka bar." He said, "Before you pick up the Shaka bar, pick up Mashah." So I picked up Mashah. Me and Mashah came and picked up the Shaka bar and went back and met up with Adawan LeBron, and he was like, "Let's go. Y'all need something?" "Nope. Let's ride." Went to the Midwest Fire Weekend, right? He Nasha and myself was talking like, "Damn, we don't know where we gonna stay at." Bond. Let me tell you what he did. He rented a room and handed out keys.
Damn.
So these he stayed the first night with us, but he had left after that. Allow him to tell that story of why he decided not to stay with us after that. You know, he want to say it's because of my snoring, and I say it's because of his snoring. His story better than mine. But we got there. We did our thing. You know, brothers didn't starve. Brothers wasn't thirsty. If brothers needed a something to sip on, brothers got that. You know, if brothers, like, I didn't go to the clubs while we was down there, but if brothers wanted to go to the club, brothers was like, "Hey, let's go to the club. We got you." And not to say that it's something wrong with going to the club, because no, there's nothing wrong with going to the club. It's just that, you know, I was doing so much stuff down there at the time that I was worn out by the end of the night, and I was like, "Oh, y'all have a good time at the club. I hit y'all next time when I ain't got so much work to do." Right, and then, you know, that food drive, the lectures by the generals were, man, the lectures by the generals, right, were awesome. You know, I asked General Muhammad what the kingdom, what this earth would look like after the return of Christ, and he gave me something that we understand that it's something that is not fathomable, that we won't even recognize. No, we can't understand. And he gave me something that was like, wow, it's gonna be like that. Because one of the things he said, like, you know, "Nigga, you gonna be rich." Like, nigga, I ain't never been rich. I've never been well off, right? And then he started to break it down and describe it, and it was so heavy. And then with General Yohana's breakdown of why and how we're being influenced by the CIA, right? He brought something heavy out about the Tubi movies. I watched Tubi, you know, and I don't watch it because, you know, yep, I'm about to go out here and act like these individuals. They're actors. They're paid actors in these Tubi movies. But at the same time, it's entertaining to me. But then I understand those individuals that can be influenced by those things that go on with the Tubi movies, those things that go on in the hip hop industry, those things that go on, you know, everywhere else in the world. And General Yohana opened my eyes up to the CIA did this to you. Sir, you got something?
No, keep going.
Okay. I didn't want to keep running off, right? And so the Midwest Fire Weekend, and then after all that, it was the cookout. Now, Israel, I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't understand how I got on the grill. I'm not the grill master in Israel. I'm not. Right? What LeBron tell me to do on the grill, what was the other brother name? Who was Quam? Man, I can't remember the brother's name. He was the brother with the cowboy boots and the long sleeve shirt. I was like, man, if you don't put this goddamn t-shirt on.
God.
And then the big fella out of Chicago, they call him Lil LeBron. My Patza, my brother. You know, me and him has the last 2 fire weekends, me and him been together when it comes to putting things together on the grill, getting preparation of the food and stuff like that, right? And him and I was talking about how, you know, we was trying to get when the Midwest Fire Weekend was here in Detroit, you know, him and I was trying to get down to the club. And right when we about to leave out to head to the club, think about this. I would say we're 10 minutes from the club, right? We got an order. Say, hey, y'all got to do such. And like, for real? Yes, we need you to do such. I said, con out of one con. Right. So as somebody calling me, telling me what we got to do, somebody else, another one of the officers over both of us calling him, telling him the exact same thing. And I turned to him. Now, me and him didn't even know each other from Adam. And we went from not knowing each other to now I can't go to Chicago. You know, I can't think about Chicago unless I talk to that brother.
God.
Went from not knowing him from Adam to this is my right-hand man. And that's how we do in the UBK. You might not know a brother. Y'all get some orders. Y'all gonna work together. We soldiers. You know how soldiers are. You know how soldiers are. Once you go to war together, you know, y'all locked in for life.
God.
You're locked in for life. And him and I, once we had to, you know, we couldn't go to the club together. We had to take care of what we had to take care of. We end up, before we end up, and I'm gonna be honest, before we end up taking care of those orders, we went to the liquor store. It's like, went to the liquor store, we grabbed the 5th, and now we take care of all them orders. We doing this, we doing that, we took care of that, right? By the time we finished taking care of the orders that we were given, it was 2:35, almost 3 o'clock. And with it being that late, club closed. So I'm looking at him, he looking at me. I say, well, I know some individuals that's, you know, they had a backyard party going on earlier. We might be able to run past there. We got there, they still partying. Hit another spot, they were still partying. And them 2 parties end up coming together. And me and him and I, we're there letting folk know about how the ISUBK is the home of the truth. Right? And it's great how we were, and this was, I'm talking about, this was last year's Midwest Fire Weekend, not the one that we just went up on. Now this year, he say, LeBron say, I want you on the grill with me. You know me, Adam done the expungement program, the food draft, this, that, another thing. All I could say was, con out of one con. Get out there. I had prepared the food the same way we prepared it last year. Same way we set it up last year, right? But he did it at the barracks, and my hotel room was an hour away from the barracks. Right. So I asked him, I say, bro, why you ain't call me out? I came over there and helped you out. He say, well, when you told me where your hotel room was at, you know, because, you know, his voice deep as hell. He said, when you told me where the hotel room was at, I didn't call you. I say, I done got over there. I done figured something out.
God.
Now we on the grill, you know, doing our thing, clean, you know, and it's an awesome, wonderful, you know.
If I may.
Please.
Yeah, a lot of, you know, people outside the school aren't gonna understand unless they're in the school. You know what I mean? They're not gonna understand what it is we do, how we operate, and what we, who we truly are unless they get inside the school. But the length to which we go to finding our brothers and sisters that are in the world, it's like no other. Brothers are spending hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, out their own pocket, going to work, slaving, making money, then spending that money to put it towards finding our family members, finding our brothers who haven't heard this truth yet. But that's how important they are to us. That's how important they are to building this kingdom. You know what I mean? Like you said, you're up till 6 o'clock in the morning, following orders, getting stuff done, so that this barbecue can be a beautiful event for people.
Yeah, right.
I ran into so many people. You know what I mean? Just going out, just stopping at a gas station, stopping at a liquor store, buying some food. I'm running into people who, they're seeing the shirts that I'm wearing. And they're like, hey, I've seen that before. You're with Cap Tazariak. You know how much work Cap Tazariak puts in? You know what I mean? And
sorry about that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like,
sorry about that.
God. You know what I mean? So, we put so much time into this, and it's like we're able to have conversation with brothers and say, hey, there's a barbecue going on this Sunday. Make sure you're down there. Going to be free food, free drinks, music. We're just going to have a good time. And, because we're trying to fish our brothers into the school. We're trying to find our brothers that are in the world. And we put so much work behind, finding our family members, so that when we actually come together, it's like, man, it's like I've known Ahabawan my entire life. You know what I mean? Like, you would believe, like, the way I view you and think about you is like, I can't wait to get to this barbecue to sit down, have a drink, and just enjoy a meal together. You know what I mean? That means the world. So,
if I may, sir,
come on, go ahead.
I'm gonna just take. I can't drink that rum. that rum had me, and I don't know what it is. It's not enough. Benjamite in my DNA.
Yeah.
I can't drink the rum.
I'm a little disappointed in Judah. You know what I mean? Every liquor store I go to, they don't know what rum is. It's like my Bayesian rum, you know what I mean? My Jamaican rum. Mm-hmm. They don't got none of that. So like
it. If I may, sir, Baba Gasha, if you could look at some of the comments, unless I'll have to walk over to the computer and see the comments. But if you can read them,
please,
now I'll go over to the computer and read them from the computer.
No sweat. Let me run it down real quick. Shout out to Carolyn Radsville, Kwamada, Balakam, Shield of Truth, Magun, Shalamoth, brothers and sisters checking in. Yah Bashim Thumb, Yahweh Shamar, Alathah Bashim Yahweh.
And if I may, like, share, subscribe to the class. 2, if you got any questions, please ask your questions. Now, we talked about a few things, sir. The one thing you didn't talk about, I don't know if you was there, but we had some individuals that were from a unrecognizable, I'll put it as that, Israelite camp. All right, a fake group. I said it. So they came down there, and the first question they asked was, how can y'all say ISUBK is the home of the truth? So I started breaking it down to them. And then as I'm breaking it down to him, a brother over me came and he started to break it down even deeper. And then now it was about 6 of them together. And this was when we had the class. This had to be Friday night. Yeah, this was Friday. This was Saturday night. This was Saturday night. This was after the food drive. This was Saturday night. Remember we was playing the card games and all that kind of stuff? He was playing cards. So this was Saturday night, and then the most General Sharma, he started to break down why the UPK is the home of the truth to these individuals, right? Now, to their leader, right? He was the head of their group, and this brother was, I don't know what happened to him, but he's in a wheelchair now, and the general cut this young man to, oh my God, cut him to piss. And when he cut him to piss, I was like, these niggas ain't coming back no more. when he come to piss, I was like, they ain't come back no more. Their whole camp was silent. Now, before that happened, and I gotta tell you about the brotherhood of Laban. One of their brothers, what you call it? One of their members. He came in and he had on a gray t-shirt with red fringes on the bottom. Right, Laban see him. He say, "Let me buy you a real shirt." And he refused to allow Laban to buy him a shirt because Laban would have got him a UPK shirt. Now I done seen Laban. He done already bought 4-5 shirts. He done bought a couple of brothers' shirts there. Right, that night. So the brother that had the red fringes on the bottom of his t-shirt, Laban say, "Let me buy you a real shirt." That's Tawanda. That's my real about of Columbus. You see how she's checking in. Look at her. That's a good real right there. So he said, and the brother refused. Laban refused to allow Laban to buy him a t-shirt. And when he refused to allow Laban to buy him a t-shirt, at that same time, I'm talking about 5 minutes later, if maybe 2, the general was cutting their leader to shreds. Now, usually when individuals get cut to shreds by the ISUPK, they don't come around no more. Now, I was already whooping their ass on the spades game. They want to play spades, you get your ass whooped. You want to play bid wish, you get your ass whooped. We wasn't showing them no mercy. Right? The general was cutting it to shreds. They showed up at the barbecue, sir, at the cookout the next day. And as soon as they came in, I heard one of the brothers say, "These folk looking for the truth." And we have to understand that these are still our brothers and sisters. And even though we may cut their doctrine, we're not trying to annihilate them. We're trying to annihilate their doctrine. Let them know this doctrine that you have is nothing. It's meaningless. It's toilet paper. Let us show you the truth. And when they showed up and came to the cookout, it was amazing to me because I didn't expect those individuals. Usually, when the general embarrassed them, and usually when somebody embarrasses you, you don't show up. And he came back the next day, and that was commemorable for that brother because it seemed like, hey, yeah, you cut me. I didn't have this, that, and other thing, but at the same time, let me show up and learn the truth, and that was heavy for me.
Come, if I may, could you grab a verse for me? Could you grab Jeremiah 6 and verse 6?
I was gonna mess with you, like I can grab the verse, but
yeah, and because I got some information that I want to get into, and I think that's a good topic to kind of segue into this information, because in all these inventions that we've been speaking on these last two classes, there's so many things in the past that have been such a pillar, you know, to society today. And, you know, the general breaking down to those brothers, you know, the importance of that foundation that we've been given is something that, you know, truly is going to propel us as a nation of people. There's so many things historically that Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous have provided to society, you know, that helps us succeed as a nation of people. If you could read that verse.
You said Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 6?
Yeah.
This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 6. For thus has the Lord of hosts said, hew down trees and cast a mount against Jerusalem.
Salakia, jump down to verse 16.
Salakia, you broke up, sir. Say it again.
Salakia, jump down to verse 16.
16, Kana Makan. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus says the Lord, stand ye in the way and see and ask for the old path. Where is the good way?
God,
and
it says ask for the old paths.
Kana.
Oh, so like I think my computer's a little slow. Go ahead and read that verse one more time from the beginning.
Kana. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus says the Lord, stand ye in the way and see and ask for the old path. Where is the good way? And walk wherein, Salakia, and walk therein. And ye shall find rest for your soul. But they said, where, Salakia, we will not walk therein. Verse 17. Also, I said, watchmen over you.
So that was it. Just verse 16. Because, you know, there's going to be a people that rebel, and there's going to be a people that look for the old ways. You know what I mean? There's going to be a people who are going to look back to history and say, this is how we succeeded. You know, this is how we had success. There's brothers and sisters who are going to find the ISUPK and say, you know, who's that original school teaching that Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous are the children of God? You know what I mean? And then you're going to have a group pop up and say, I don't want to follow the old ways. I'm going to teach that, you know, polygamy is wrong, that a man should only have one wife. And then there's another brother who's going to value those old teachings, those old paths. They're gonna value the truth that Commanding General Yohana fought to keep alive.
Damn right.
General Mahaiman, General Mayak fought to keep alive. And we can see historically the good past. We can see the good past when we see the success of living a certain way. A group like Sakari, you know, they didn't value the old path. True, the Sakari said, what, fuck Ariyah? They didn't value, you know, the teachings of One West. You know what I mean? They're going to go and teach something different.
He said to head priest Ariyah, but yet still, what did his wife do to him?
God. You know what I mean? They don't value the old past. They don't understand the importance of what the Most High laid down from the beginning. If you could grab Genesis chapter 2 and I think it's verse 2 and 7. Let me get down there. Genesis chapter 2. Yeah, Genesis 2 and verse 7. Read that, Baba Kasha. You know what I mean? These old ways are so valuable to the children of Israel.
Damn right. This is Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. And the Lord of God, Salakia, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Mm-hmm.
And man became a living soul.
God, so the Most High in Genesis chapter 1, we read where he creates all of earth.
Mm-hmm.
He creates water, he creates the birds, the fish, the animals, he creates people. He creates everything that is on this earth in 6 days, and then he was finished. He was done. And then after his completion and after he's done resting, he finds a man, he finds a nation of people where he breathes the breath of life into this man. And that breath of life is the laws, statutes, and commandments of God.
That's right.
This was all done, from the beginning, thousands of years ago. For Sakari to be like, what head priest Ariyah is teaching is fucked up, or fuck Ariyah, whatever he said. It's like you're not valuing those old ways, those old paths. You guys are going on teaching something different. The angel told Paul, if any man teaches another doctrine, let him be accursed.
Damn right.
There's a reason for that. Because there was something given to us from the beginning that was valuable, that was needed.
Yes, sir.
That's why he told Adam, don't learn from that tree of knowledge of good and evil. You know what I mean? Don't learn what it's like to do cocaine. Don't learn what it's like to sleep with a white woman. You know what I mean? Don't learn what it's like to learn some kind of sexual deviant, lifestyle. That's why he said, don't lay down with, nations of other people. Because they're going to turn you away from these laws, statutes, and commandments. They're going to turn you away from our culture, which is the most valuable thing on this earth. You know what I mean? General Shah Omar breaking down to those brothers, cutting them to piss, on their doctrine. They don't understand the value and importance of these old ways.
Damn right.
And, as we've been teaching, or as we've been speaking on, all these different inventions that Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous, have come up with, we're showing brothers and sisters how valuable our culture is, how valuable we are as a people. And I got an article we're gonna read through that's gonna break down, so many valuable things to a nation succeeding, to a society succeeding.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're gonna go ahead.
No, I was just letting you know, sir, that the articles I got I got a couple articles as far as some of the inventors, and the reason why I bring these out, and let me know when you're ready for me to bring them out. One of the first inventors that I have is Lewis Howard Lattimore, and the reason why I brought it out because the Most High, we understand that the Most High said, "Let there be lights," and he was Lewis Howard Lattimore was implementing the the electric light bulb. I'll tell you, Salakia, sir.
No, that's heavy. What I want to do is let's bring up that brother. Speak on what it is he invented and how valuable it was to society, because all of this goes hand in hand.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? It's like these. Last week we're speaking on a brother who's you know, had all these inventions of medicine and, you know what I mean, brothers who are, you know, figuring out all these different ways to just feed a society. Like that brother, if he didn't, you know, come up with all his inventions that he did, we would not be eating fruits and vegetables today in America.
So about George Washington Carver.
God.
If I may, would it be too Christian like to say that the Most High God was the ultimate inventor, right?
Man.
And his people are going to invent things to make their lives easier, right? Understand is that the United States, Israel, the United States would be in the Stone Ages if it wasn't for Black, Native American, and Hispanic inventors. Sir, would you agree with that?
What I would say is that not only would we be, you know, in the Stone Age without Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous inventors, what the world does not understand is that we were given something as a nation of people, over 7,000 years ago, on how to live and operate on this earth.
Damn right.
We might speak on today, like, you know, having the first Black heart surgeon. You know what I mean? The first person to successfully complete a heart surgery, open heart surgery. And that's such a valuable, you know, instrument in today's society. What society doesn't understand is this medicine or what would I call it? The importance of medical practice today. We were given medical practice 7,000 years ago.
Damn right.
And it's not a new thing. You know what I mean? Like the Most High had told us, you know, we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments that we'll live and we'll live a long life. You're reading about Noah and, you know, Methuselah and Enoch. These brothers in the Bible living to 500 years old, 800 years old. They're living a very long life. You know what I mean? And they're not dying at the age of 50 of lung cancer. They're not dying at the age of 30 from lung cancer. Dying at a young age from diabetes and heart failure and all these different things, because the Most High gave us a way of life that, you know, helped us live a long and healthy life. Go ahead.
You know what's so heavy about what you're saying is that if we follow just the dietary laws, you'll live healthier, stronger, and longer.
God.
That's from just following the dietary laws, right? We were cursed when we wanted to eat some crab, shrimp, pork, lobster, and we could bring the history out about eating those things, and we're bringing the history out of eating those things. What you have to understand is that I was just watching what was that? I was just watching a news conference the other day. A young lady was she's suing one of these hotels, these major hotels, because she got a flesh eating disease. Right? You know, flesh eating disease within 24 hours, you have to be, if you don't recognize it within 24 hours, it's going to be a must that they amputate a part of your body.
God.
Right? So she was at one of these major hotels. I'm talking about I can't remember what hotel it was, because it was a high-end hotel. Like, I want to say it was the Marriott, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to put that information out there. Cool. But it was a high-end hotel, right? She went to their swimming pool. They didn't have chlorine. The pH balance was way high, and it was a cesspool for the amoeba that's flesh-eating disease. She get in there, they're swimming, having a good time. She scraped her knee.
Okay.
Scrape her knee, right? Notice her knee is sore as hell. They get out the water the next day, knee swollen, the skin deteriorating. She goes to the hospital. Now, when we're going to the hospital, 8 days. She's in the hospital for 8 days. And with her being in the hospital for 8 days, because that's where it's at now, they put her on all type of antibiotics. And she has an IV with antibiotics in it right now. But people don't understand is that, yes, you can get a flesh-eating disease from we'll call it a cesspool. But you also can get these flesh-eating disease from shellfish.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it from oysters and lobsters and clams. You can get flesh-eating diseases from those things. And we're getting flesh-eating diseases from the oysters and the clams. So think about it. They take raw clam and the oppressor think that raw clam is an aphrodisiac. They think he's gonna make them bigger and stronger. You know, he gonna gorilla on his woman. That's why he eats that. Our power told us not to. Our power told us not to. There's other ways. You got to understand this. The Bible shows that who was it? Abraham and Sarah. They were in their 90s. They were in their 90s, right, sir? They were in their 90s. Not only were they in their 90s, I'll say consenting. We'll keep it clean. Not only were they in their 90s consenting, they were in their 90s, and Sarah got pregnant. Right? Understand that we can do that if we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, sir. But if I may, we brought out that the Lord said, "Let there be light." Let there be light. So I would like to bring out Lewis Howard Lattimore, if I may.
Let's get it.
Okay, cool. So Lewis Howard Lattimore was an American inventor and patented draftsman. His inventions included an evaporative air conditioning and improved process for manufacturing carbon filaments for electric light bulbs. Are not all our light bulbs that we deal with now electric? So when I say let there be light, you know this is what I'm talking about. And an improved toilet system for railroad cars. In 1884, right, he joined the Edison Electrical Light Company, where he worked as a draftsman. And the Lewis H. Latimer House, his landmark former residence, is located near the Latimer Projects at 34 through 41, 137th Street in Flushing, Queens, New York City. Right? This brother invented the carbonate filament that goes into the light bulb, sir. That's that little. If I'm, that's that little line that run from prong to prong.
Yep.
Okay. The little line that run from prong to prong, if I may. And certain light bulbs, there's two of them. These LED lights, you know, they're a thicker one and it's more efficient, right? So in America, if you want to kick black people out, America, kick them out. We taking the light bulb with us. Can't use it now. If I may, sir, I can go on a little bit farther if you want me to.
Keep speaking on. I want you to finish on this, brother.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna jump in after that.
Now, understand is that we got the Lewis Howard College of Business that closed a few years ago. That was right here in Detroit on Meyer and 6 Mile. Right. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Blah.
But it says Lewis Howard Lattimore was born in Chelsea, Massachusetts. Lewis was the youngest of 4 children of Rebecca Latimer and George Latimer. Before Lewis was born, his mother and father escaped from slavery in Virginia and fled to Chelsea on October 4th, 1842. Right? And the heavy part about that, sir, think about this. This was a son born to slaves. So if it wasn't for a son born to slaves, you wouldn't have a goddamn light bulb.
That's heavy.
You wouldn't have a light bulb.
If I may.
Please.
You know, and so, you know, we see today how valuable something, you know, as simple as a light bulb is. You know what I mean? We've needed light from the beginning of time.
Damn right.
So whether we're using candles, making large fires, you know, finding way to use light to help us see when we're in the dark. You know, a brother is looking at this, you know, simple concept saying, you know, how can I improve on this way of life? You know, I can't picture a society operating without a light bulb today. You know what I mean? First thing you do when you go to work, you shut on the lights. You go in the warehouse, you shut on the lights. You wake up, you turn on the light bulb. It's damn near the first thing you do. You know what I mean? When you get out of bed. Shit, me, first thing I do, I get out of bed, I pick up my phone, you know, open that screen up, see what missed calls I got, this and that, and I got the LED light on the phone. You know what I mean? So I can see what the hell is going on. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm slightly older than you. So every now and then, in the middle of the night, I have to get up and go urinate.
Good.
I cut every goddamn light on the way.
Right. Good.
And then when I'm coming back, I'm cutting them off. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
And think about it. We would, and I'm in the school right now. You know, I got half the lights on. I only turn half the lights on for this side. I don't need the lights on the other side. Right? So if it wasn't for Lewis Howard Latimer, these lights in the school wouldn't be on.
God.
Would not be on, sir. I'm gonna give it a little bit more if I may.
If I may read one thing before you keep going.
Please.
This is Genesis chapter 1 and verse 2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Verse 3. And God said, let there be light. And there was light.
God, like this, if I may.
God.
If I may. Usually, I'm reading for you. and God said what?
Let there be light.
Hold on, you said God said, let there be what?
Let there be light.
And what happened if he said, let there be light?
And there was light.
Ooh-wee. So, you know, Lewis Howard Latimer, the Lord said, let there be light. And Lewis Howard Latimer invented the light bulb.
God.
Right? If I may, sir. Now, I got plenty of inventions that we've talked about everything from video games to super soakers to all the agriculture with what's his name? All the agricultures with George Washington Carver. You know, that's my shy guy.
God.
George Washington Carver. That is Mashah's guy, right? And Michelle, we're gonna say this. We missing you tonight, brother. Out of one, we wish you'd have been down here. We know he's taking care of some business, right? But so you wouldn't have video games if it wasn't for the 12 tribes. You wouldn't have air conditioning, and the reason why I say evaporative air conditioning because one of Lewis's inventions was he included evaporative air conditioning and improved the process of manufacturing. So he improved the process of manufacturing light bulbs, right? I'm gonna pull up another one, sir, unless you got somebody.
Salagi, after we're done on this, brother, I'm gonna take over.
Please.
I got some things I want to bring up.
So go ahead.
Yeah, because this brother,
I want to say something about him that a lot of people don't know, if I may.
We'll get to that. This brother inventing this, the filament for the light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if we understood those old paths, if we as a society were just dropped off in the middle of a desert with nothing, and we picked up these records, this Bible, and started from the beginning and read it through to the end, we would have everything that we need to sustain us as a society. We read where the Most High says, it was darkness, and he said, because there's darkness, I'm going to make light.
Mm-hmm.
And this is science in the Bible. There was water, and it was dark, and the Most High put together these elements and formed, this large gas and this large explosion. Scientists today, they come up, they'll say it's called the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, they will.
That is in the Bible. Science is such a valuable thing to society, and all of that is found in the Bible. Yeah, I mean, we're dropped off in the wilderness. The brother says, hey, we're going to need some light. We're going to need some light so that we can operate. You got this great brother right here, you know what I mean, Louis Latimer, who's like, this is something that's important and valuable for a society. Let's come up with a way to improve on this. But we have that foundation. You know what I mean? The Most High gave us a foundation for everything that we need on this earth.
Damn right.
We would just follow that blueprint. You know what I mean? We would be such a powerful nation. But go ahead. You were going to say something?
You said something that was so heavy. You said, with you being from Windsor, I understand why you said it. You said, we're starting at the bottom. Now we're here. But just to finish, it says Louis Howard Latimer was born in Chelsea, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Louis was the youngest of 4 children, Rebecca Latimer and George Latimer. Before Louis was born, his mother and his father escaped from slavery in Virginia and fled to Chelsea on October 4th, 1842. The day they arrived in Boston, George was recognized by a colleague of the former slave owner and was arrested a few days later. On October 20th, 1842, George Trial received great notary. He was represented. That one died. It says George received a trial with great notary. It says he was represented by Frederick Douglass and William Lloyd Garrison. You know who Frederick Douglass was, the great what they call that, abolitionist, the great abolitionist.
You say Frederick Douglass?
Frederick Douglass.
Oh, Con, yeah, Con.
Yeah. So, and William Lloyd Garrison. He was eventually able to purchase his freedom and live with his family in Chelsea. Now, understand his mother and father escaped from slavery. So he had to purchase his freedom. Because think about it. Was you born into slavery, you're a slave. So when Latimer was young, he spent time helping his father in his barbershop. Louis Latimer also spent time at night hanging wallpaper with his father. When Latimer was 10, his mother decided to split the family after the Dred Scott case ruled. Think about this. The Dred Scott case ruled individual slaves needed to prove they had the consent of their owners to legally become free. Prior to this ruling, many slaves had attained freedom by escaping into free states and becoming state citizens, which gave them which gave them protection from efforts of interstate slave catchers. Right? So what's so heavy about that is he escaped slavery with his parents escaped slavery. With his parents escaping slavery, they still never recognized them as being free.
God.
They never did. You said you had something else, sir?
God, you know, I don't know if I'm thinking for time's sake to bring out this article next class, and let's keep on some of these inventors.
Go on.
Yeah.
Right now, if you want to bring out someone else, because like I said, I got a plethora of them of whoever you wanna bring out. You know, we could bring out Sarah Bone. She helped improve the ironing board.
God.
What you gotta understand is that I'm an engineer, and Richard Spikes. I'm gonna pull this information up, right? And I'm gonna give you a guess.
Yeah, you like that,
sir? What you think he invented?
I know it has to do with cars.
You know it got to do with cars, right? Because if I bring something up, it got to do with cars.
If it wasn't about a car, it's something about a movie.
No, I'm a movie buff, right? I'm a history nut, movie buff, history nut.
God.
But if I bring something out, it got to be about cars. Let me tell you something, sir. I have a 1970 Monte Carlo. Now I'm gonna bring LeBon up because LeBon got the I think it's an 80 or a 79 Malibu. LeBon's Malibu got a 383 stroker motor in it. Do you understand what a 383 stroker motor is, sir?
I have no idea.
383 stroker motor is that 350, and they took that 400 crank and they cut it down. They put that crank in there. And when that crank turn over, you get heli compression and power, and it go.
God.
But LeBron is such a need for speed. He's taking that out of there. He's gonna drop a 6. He got a 6.0 or a 6.2. I don't know which one it is. I've seen it, and I offered to buy it. But the plan is to put that in there, right? I just got a text from one of the brothers, Hadawab. Hadawab is the brother that helped LeBron. It's all history. Hadawab, he used to be in the field, right? So we still run into him when we fishing and hanging out, right? We still, I still talk to the brother, and he helped LeBron put the 383 in there in his Malibu. LeBron puts the 383 in the Malibu, come pick me up. We tested it out. The nigga never told me his seatbelts don't work. You understand what I'm saying? He never told me his seatbelts don't work. I'm a stickler for seatbelts, right? You know why? They keep you locked in the car. But, and the reason why we bring this up because Richard Bowie Spike, born October 2nd, 1878, right? Death date, January 22nd, 1983, right? So the brother lived, was it 68, 88, 88, ooh, almost 90 years, if I may, sir. Say, Richard Boyd Spikes was they say African American, but Israel, we know we ain't African American. He was a Judite inventor who held several United States patents. Think about this. He had several United States patents during the time of Jim Crow, at the end of slavery and during the time of Jim Crow. So the brother had to know what the hell he was talking about because of the time that he had these patents and his invention. So he's credited with developing and improving the invention, such as a beer tap. Hold on, wait, sir, if I may. Does the oppressor use a beer tap today?
God.
He loved that beer tap, right?
God.
He couldn't have a beer tap if it wasn't for the 12 types. Got something else for you. A modification of an automatic gear shift mechanism for motor vehicles and safety braking for trucks and buses. How many individuals out there want their car to stop?
So like, say that one more time.
I say, how many individuals out in this, in this society would like for their car to stop? You hit the gas, you want it, right?
You need that brake.
When you going through that transmission, think about it. He created something, a mechanism for the automatic gear shift, right? And this question goes to, if you don't, do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat if you got an automatic gear shift in your car. Just put a 1. Put a 1W in the chat if you got an automatic gear shift in your car. So you brothers that's out here with the Vipers and the Mustangs with the stick shift, I don't expect y'all to put a 1 in the chat. Nah. Put a 1 where's hey Salakia, sir, Baba Kashaf, I may. My lord.
God.
Anybody that put a 1 in the chat, do you mind mentioning them? Because I want to ask them a question. I just want to know, put the 1 in the chat and what type of vehicle you got. Right? And the reason why I say put the 1 in the chat and the type of vehicle that you have is because you wouldn't have that automatic transmission that operate the way that it does if it wasn't for a Judite, Richard Bowie Spikes. Who we got here? I see Princess. Is that Nawah?
God. Yeah, she put 1. She got an automatic car.
She got an automatic.
Yep.
You know why she ain't got an automatic? Because she don't want to hit that clutch, shift that gear, go to the next gear. Nawah probably would burn the clutch up. Yeah, I'm just playing, Nawah. I'm just joking. In the council, sis, I'm playing.
I tell you, Benjamin has a problem behind that wheel. You got sick Jude speed?
For real. I was rapping in Chicago. I was hoping, I was like, please, Lord, give him all the standards shifted so he can slow this. You know, I'm gonna stop. Who else? Who else said they got a? As Princess Noir. Who else said ain't nobody else said they got no? So everybody else got race cars and shit. Goddamn. Right. So it says that and the safety braking system for the trucking and buses. It say notably his beer tap patent, right, was purchased by Milwaukee Brewing Company. Do you know who Milwaukee Brewing Company is?
No, I'm not sure.
You ever drink a brew called Milwaukee Best? It says, and variations of the designs are still used today. However, many of the other inventions were not widely adopted during his lifetime, right?
Okay.
And I understand what I want to do is while we're doing that, I said, I'm gonna tell Siri to do something. Hey Siri, pull up Milwaukee Brewing Company. And the reason why I want to, right? Reason why I want to pull up Milwaukee Brewing Company, right? Salakia. Hey Siri, what products does Milwaukee Brewing Company produce? Right? So Milwaukee Brewing Company or brewbound.com, right? Offered as a turnkey operation. So you can franchise with these. They put in 200,000 barrels. Let me pull it and say it says this is Brewbound Milwaukee Brewing Company. It said another brewery. The reason why I bring this up because the brother came up with the beer tap, right, and other inventions that was bought out by Milwaukee Brewing Company, right. Another craft brewery is up for sale as a turnkey operation. Wisconsin Milwaukee Brewing Company is being offered for sale by assets deposition firm New Mill Capital. According to the listing, Milwaukee Brewing Company produces production facility is at MKE 9th Street, offers 75,000 barrels of annual capacity with the licensing to produce up to 200,000 barrels, including in the sales of Milwaukee Brewing intellectual properties and equipment, including a 60-barrel automated Sprinkman 4-vessel brewing house like new. Canning, bottling, and keg filling lines, and pasturing, among other brewing support and equipment. Right. So you know what they do is, I was looking for what products do they produce, because I don't want to say they produce this, that, the other thing, and they don't. Right. But you understand what they're able to do. I'll have to slack it, Israel. I have to look it up because I don't want to falsify what it is that they produce, the type of beer that they produce, right? Now, the Milwaukee Brewing Company, hold on, Slakia. Hey Siri, what beer does the Milwaukee Brewing Company own? So Milwaukee Brewing Company owns, like I said, Milwaukee Best, Milwaukee Light. If I may, sir, I'm getting a call from one of the brothers above me. Can you handle it? Can you hold this down for me for a minute?
No sweat. It's interesting, you know. Again, some of the things that I shouldn't say some of, but so many of the things that we've invented as a people. You know, this brother is out here. This brother's out here making brake shifts for a vehicle, from brake shifts to beer taps. You know what I mean? Brothers out here with the first heart surgeons. You got brothers inventing the ironing board. Sisters coming up with ways to get to the moon. All these different these range of inventions that we have. You know what I mean? I'm first hearing about this brother, and I'm thinking, he's just in the automotive industry. He's just coming up with inventions for this, and then it's like, bam. He also, by the way, he also invented the beer tap. You know what I mean? That beer you're getting at that bar, this brother is accredited, for coming up with these things. And so that's just to add on to the mind that we have as a people. It really speaks true when it says that Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous are above all people on the face of the earth. We're damn near capable of doing whatever it is we want on this earth. You know what I mean? So that's a very some powerful information. I never would have known this, and so I'll keep reading a little bit on this brother. It says,
if I may, sir.
Khan, go ahead.
Now, I just want to put this information out there because, and the only reason why I want to put this information out there right now is because I seen a bunch of brothers drinking some of that old English 800.
God damn.
Now, what I have here is Old English 800 is a brand of American malt liquor brewed by Miller Brewing Company.
Oh, check that out.
Hey, I got to put you on front, right? It was produced in 1964. So y'all, Israel, when you see the brothers with the 40, we're going to do history on everything. So now we're doing history on, some brothers call it the OE, right? If I may, sir?
Yeah, that's what we called it growing up, OD.
Mm-hmm. Easy said, and from the 8th ball, my breath starts stinking. It says it was a brand of American malt liquor brewed by Miller Brewing Company. It was introduced in 1964 and has been produced by the company since 1999. It is available in It is available in a variety of service sizes, including since the late 1980s, a 40 U.S. fluid ounce bottle. Now,
if I may, real quick.
If those individuals outside of the United States, that's 1,200 milliliters. Please, sir.
I just I feel bad now, because I should have known all that time that a nigga invented all these. You know what I mean?
Look that shit up.
Shoot. All this time, you know what I mean? We're just out on the porch or whatever it is. I should have known.
You should have known I was gonna look that shit up. You already know. Hold on. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do something for you, sir. Let me hit this. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not OE. It says Old English 800, also known as 8 ball or OE. Sounds familiar? Yes, it does. It says was introduced in 1964. It had its origins in the late 1940s as rough old English stout, brewed by People Brewing Company in Duluth, Minnesota. rebranded Old English 600. So it was used to be Old English 600. Now it's Old English 800. Right? It was later sold to the Bohemian Brewery of Spokane, Washington, and then to Blitz Renhard of Portland, Oregon, where it became Old English 800. By that time, Blitz Winhard sold it to Pabst Brewing Company in 1979. Old English malt liquor had become their top brand. It's the history class, right?
God.
So I can figure out the history of that OE.
You know, after this one, I'm gonna tell my kids anything invented that's good, just know black people made it.
Hey, you know we had a part of it, right? Nah.
Good.
If you want me to continue, sir, about your no, let me stop. You know what? We might have to do a history class on the drinks that black people drank.
Good.
I would love, you know what? I would love to do the history of Hennessy and Kool-Aid.
Good.
If I may, sir, do you see any comments on or questions or suggestions?
Just had a couple more people check in. Adawan Masha, Tawanda Williams, Shemaya Matar, Michael Landers. That's young man Mike. And Kala Yaquar, Yabashim Shabakatha.
Young man Mike, where you from?
That's the brother that comes in to Detroit, I believe. But he said, Salak here.
That's good. That's good.
Shalom Israel, mighty man Mike checking in. I believe that's the brother that comes in to the Detroit school.
Okay. Now, sir, if you would like for me to bring something else up about your drinking habits.
Man, I can't reminisce in peace.
I've seen a lot of old drink at the Empire weekend. That's the reason why I had to bring that out. You know that, right?
Man, it's like,
I had to bring that out. Sorry, give me a second. If you hold some things down, I gotta go check something over here.
No sweat. So I'm gonna share my screen really quick. So this is an article that's it's titled 11 Prerequisites of a Functioning Society. And the reason I want to speak on this is because, again, as these last two classes we've been speaking on inventions. You know what I mean? Like Ahabawan sent me, a whole list of things invented. You know what I mean? If I read down some of them real quick, we got the improved ironing board, the clothes dryer, automatic gear shift, turn signals, home security systems, traffic light, gas mask, laser eye surgery tool. All these things invented by blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous. And people always say that these inventions are so important and helpful in furthering our community. You know what I mean? Like there was that race. There was that race in America to, who would be the first country to make it to the moon, and they're sitting there trying to figure out, how to get this this spaceship to get to the moon and get back safely? How do we get a man in this spaceship, you know, to control it, this and that? And you got the whole world racing to be the first people on the moon, because these different inventions that people come up with, you know, we look at it as this is furthering our society. It's making our society better. You know what I mean? And at the same time, you have psychologists and, you know, all these studies, you know, Harvard University, you know, Cambrian College and whatnot, who are looking into, you know, always looking into how do we better our society. You know what I mean? And what they found is there's this consistency of things, you know, that help sustain a nation. And different studies will say it in different ways, but there's always this foundation to a nation, you know, that helps it strive, helps it succeed. And so this article says 11 prerequisites of a functioning society. You know, it's saying that this is the foundation of a society of things that we need in order for it to succeed. I've heard Cap Tazariak, you know, battle different brothers so many times and say, you know, like, how does Kemet help black people? How does Christianity help black people? How does this way of life or this way of thinking help black people? And so many people will come up with different answers. You know, some people will sit there and say, you know, science is the most important thing for a society. Because with science, we're going to come up with all these different inventions and improvements on life itself. You know what I mean? There was one thing I was talking to a brother about I think it was a Hubble one the other day, and it was that idea of, you know, a cell phone, and, you know, some of the things that having a cell phone gave. And it was like, one of the things I said to him was, you know, when we were younger and we just had that, you know, the house phone in the house, I had like 200 different phone numbers memorized. Naimia, Shemai, Naimia, Shemai. I had like 200 different phone numbers memorized in my head. You know what I mean? And as the cell phone comes, all of a sudden, you know, I can't remember. Shoot, I can't remember my rib cell phone. You know what I mean? Like,
tell nobody else that.
You know, I can tell you what my rib's phone number is. You know what I mean? Which is crazy to think, you know, that once upon a time, you know, all these numbers were in my head. I was talking to my Shaw, and we were using the GPS, and it's like, today I'm so reliant on the GPS. When I was younger driving around, it was just what's east and west, what's north and south, where's the water, you know, where's the sunrise, and point me in that direction. I'm gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? I'll pull one of the maps out. You used to go to the gas station, you know, buy one of those dollar maps or 25-cent maps, and use those to navigate where it is we're going.
Yes, sir.
I mean, all of a sudden I got a GPS system. I can't get nowhere without that GPS. You know what I mean? So again, you know, just saying it to say that, you know, in the midst of a society where we have all these different inventions, you know, people can argue what's good and what's bad for us. You know what I mean? Maybe that cell phone wasn't so good. You know, there's a study that says if you give a cell phone to a child under the age of 10, they're at some like 70-80% higher risk to struggle with like social anxieties and depression, you know, and anger issues. And the study was saying how detrimental it is to give a cell phone to a child at a young age. You know, go ahead.
When my youngest daughter, she's 7 now. When she was born, right? She had a cell phone.
God.
I put a cell phone in her diaper bag. Right. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the babysitters, she got a phone. Call daddy.
God.
The what you call that? The child care centers got a problem. Call daddy.
God.
When her older sisters were keeping an eye on her, her phone is here. Call daddy. And then at the same time is I could track that phone, and I know the area of my daughter where she at any given time.
Damn right.
Now, she didn't use it herself. It was for those individuals that kept an eye on her to use them.
God.
To use it. That was it.
Yep. You know, and then again, that's exactly my point in saying, you know, the Bible has a, you know, perfect, or I'll say King Solomon had such a wise saying that he gave us thousands of years ago. You know, he said, you know, don't weary your heart out in the too much studying of many books. You know what I mean? You can read 500 different books and gain all this knowledge and wisdom and information on how to live and this and that, but at the end of the day, you know, and his conclusion to life is everything is vanity without these laws, statutes, and commandments.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? We can invent all the things in the world, and you know that light bulb, it can be a beautiful thing, but you use that in the wrong way. You know what I mean? You might harm somebody.
It's so heavy about what you're saying because a light bulb could easily turn to a lightsaber.
God.
You know, I'm just speculating. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. We understand that lightsabers aren't real or cannot be.
It's Salakia. They shoot. You look up in the military today, and they're putting those laser beam weapons on those tanks. You know, who knows what what man will come up with and think to make. You know what I mean? Of course, not the lightsabers out of a fucking movie, but you know, Lord knows what man will create and can create. And so, when He said, "Let us hear the conclusion of the matter," the only thing that matters are these laws, statutes, and commandments.
You know what's so heavy about that, sir, is that Esau was blessed with the sword.
That's right.
Esau was blessed with the sword, so he can weaponize anything. Think about this. Esau has weaponized the women of the 12 tribes of Israel. He's weaponized their wombs. Right? So the lightsaber, that ain't far-fetched. If I may, sir, Baba Shah, can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
I'm starting to see, like, I can't see the comments. We got a few more new ones coming in. If you could read those, please.
Khan, it was just one more sister came in and Smile said, checking in. Shalom, family. Hope to see you soon. I'm at work.
Salakia, sis, where you from?
Yo, where are you from, sis? And Smile. That was it for the chat.
If I may, sir.
Yeah.
We was at the Midwest Fire Weekend. The sister out of Colorado, when I was talking to her, we were playing spades and having some drinks and stuff like that. And she told me her name was Kat. I was like, if your name Kat, you can't play spades with us because you ain't got no Hebrew name. No, I'm joking with her, sir. I'm like, you can't play spades with us. We've only playing spades with people that got Hebrew names, right? And as I said that, they called her up to the front to give her Hebrew name.
Damn.
She came back. I was like, sis, please sit down and play spades with us. She was like, you're not saying that because I got a Hebrew name. Of course. But the Fire Weekend was amazing. Amen. Now, I didn't get to hit any of the club scenes You know, I didn't get to hit any of the what was it called? Like the drinking at the barracks and at the you know, some of the other Airbnbs because I was doing some work. But even though I did all this work down there, I still wouldn't have passed it up. I thank the Most High for being able to come down there and do what I did for the Midwest Fire Weekend.
God. Yeah, if I may, you know,
Please.
just to end out, so brothers and sisters know, you know, next Monday, make sure you tune in because this topic that we have coming up is really a valuable, you know, piece of information and piece of history that has never been taught or told. You're only going to find it in the ISUPK. So make sure you tune in next Monday night history class. All right. 11 prerequisites of a functioning society. And we're going to tie in all these things of, you know, these great inventions, great inventors. You know what I mean? So make sure you tune in. All right. But with that, Abawan, you want to say anything on the Midwest Fire Weekend before we close out?
Let's see. I don't know how to grill. I don't know why they keep putting. I don't know why they keep putting up. But seriously, sir, you know, the Midwest Fire Weekend, hosted by Captain Mawakwa under Commanding General Yohana. What y'all got to understand is that
Captain Mawakwa.
You got to give the big ups to Captain Mawakwa. Look, sir, if I may, you got to give the ups to them brothers in Chicago that held this down. You know, and I'm not going to call them by their Hebrew names. I'm gonna call them, you know, by their nicknames, if I may. You know, get a shout out. You got to give the shout out to the Midwest. What does the
Midwest
Monster Mayhem? You got to give a shout out to the Midwest Monster Mayhem, right? For orchestrating everything, right? And then the brothers under him, Lord Goku, the twins, mix and match. You know, the problem is y'all laughing, but y'all know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to give a shout out to Godzilla. You know, y'all know who I'm talking about. You know, these brothers, they did their thing down there, sir. And I'm appreciative just to be in the UPK, being accepted to allow to do some of this work hand to hand, side by side with these brothers, these individuals. These are, like, y'all know, I've been a Christian pastor, and I didn't do sugar, honey, iced tea. Look at the acronym. I ain't do sugar, honey, iced tea compared to the things that these brothers is doing for our nation.
Damn right.
Sir, if you don't mind, you can close us out, and then I'm gonna shut everything down, Baba Kasha, unless you need me to do something.
No sweat. Go ahead, priest. All right, again, Israel. Thawada for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. All right, definitely share this class. Get the truth out. Like and share these classes. Comment. You know, comment in the classes. Get the algorithm up. Get this truth out. It's so valuable, you know, for our people. Really giving life and healing our nation. You know what I mean? A nation that is so desperately in need of being healing. All right, you're only going to get that healing in the ISUPK. All right, so again, Thawada for tuning in. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yahbashim Shabraka Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Thun, Bashim Yashai to all the sisters. And with that, we say shalom.
ISUPK presents the 8th Annual Midwest Fire Weekend 2025. A day of brotherhood, sisterhood, food, fun, and unity. We raising funds to cover the barbecue, the food, the drink, bounce houses, snow cones, games, and more, so the whole family can come out and enjoy. Every donation helps us make this day even greater for the community. Support the Midwest Fire Weekend 2025. Click the link below and donate today.